Welcome back to another season of Lifestyle, the Broken Creative Podcast. I'm your host, Eric, and this is part one of our Pride special. What Pride means to me, our 3-year anniversary. Can you believe it's been 3 years? I want to thank all my past guests and you, my listeners, for keeping our little show alive. It seems though, over the past few years, this year in particular, the world has taken steps, even leaps back, in the progress made to protect everyone's human rights, but mostly the LGBTQ plus community. So, in an effort to uplift my community and my own spirits, I have lined up a couple of amazing guests, and I will be dedicating this segment to celebrate queer creators and entrepreneurs. Part one of our 3-year anniversary special, I will be accompanied by a spirited designer and activist. My next guest transcends fashion and gender norms through their thoughtful and thought-provoking social media content, as well as their beautifully crafted garments. Please welcome the multi-talented CEO and designer of Terrance Williams Designs, the lovely Terrance Williams. Hi, Terrance. Thank you so much for joining me today. Happy Pride.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I imagine the summer months are especially busy for you. A lot of orders coming in. Everybody wants to look fabulous in the weather.
Yes, summer is usually a busy season for me, and then I recently had a few videos on TikTok go viral, so it's just been a lot of orders very quickly. So I'm just taking it one day at a time, trying to breathe and get through everything.
I love it. I love it. So I don't want to take up too much of your time. You're a busy person. So I wanted to know what prompted you to start sewing, because from what I read, you're a self-taught designer and you studied in political science and human rights.
Yeah, it's the University of Delaware, class of, what is that, 2011? And I did political science with a concentration in global studies, and then I have a triple minor in African studies, Asian studies, and women's studies. The plan was to go to law school. I wanted to do international law. I wanted to help refugees and asylum seekers seeking asylum in different countries. So I, did everything. I was in Phi Alpha Delta pre-law fraternity. I took the LSAT, got into the Drexel summer program for law school, and just decided, I did not want to go.
Okay. We all have those kind of moments. A quick switch.
Yeah. It was a huge switch. But I just had found my love of fashion and design. I'd always really been interested in fashion and clothing. I would pore over the pages of Vogue, watch every little collection season of like New York Fashion Week.
Yeah.
I could see someone walking down the street and I could be like, oh my gosh, that is Marc Jacobs this season, or the Michael Kors bag from this season. Like, I knew my stuff and I wanted to replicate their fashions, but I couldn't obviously afford,
I get that,
Marc Jacobs, and going into stores, I couldn't really find anything. So I wanted stuff that was in the women's section, but I didn't exactly feel comfortable at the time, venturing deep into that. Now I don't care. But I was like, well, I'll just, learn how to sew and make my own stuff and my own dupes or whatever I wanted. So that was really how it started, just wanting to make clothes for myself that I felt comfortable and beautiful in, that really reflected me and my personality.
So just to jump off of that, explain to us the Terrance Williams design experience. Like, who is the brand and who is the client? What are they looking for?
So my brand is really focused on sustainability, mainly when it comes to human rights. So how I
Yes.
source my fabric, the fabric is not made in sweatshop conditions. The people are paid fair wages. They're in
Yeah.
working conditions and environments. So I really kind of look for places that manufacture fabric in a safe and ethical way, or
Okay.
I use a dead stock fabric, so fabric that was once in production that is no longer in production, and
Okay.
then instead of it being incinerated or going to a landfill, I like to buy it and kind of give it a second life.
Yeah.
And with that fabric, my brand really is about layering pieces that you can add to your already existing wardrobe and accessories that you can already add to your existing wardrobe, just to give it a pop and a flair
Yeah.
and just a,
Ooh.
a bit of excitement. So
Yes.
everything is genderless, everything is size inclusive, everything is versatile. You can dress it up, you can dress it down. I mean, I've worn my dusters with a t-shirt and jeans, and then other times when I'm feeling a little feisty, I've worn it with lingerie or nothing,
Ew.
depending
Yes.
on who I'm entertaining. So
I feel
it's just
you.
a wide range of like ways that you can wear my pieces, and I just wanted it to be really cute, fun fashion that was accessible, that was just easy. I wanted it
Yeah.
to really, my pieces to really be easy for people.
I love that. So yeah, anyone who wants to experience the experience can. That's what it's
Yeah,
about. I love that. So
absolutely.
why is slow fashion important and what impact is the fast fashion world having on our environment?
Yeah, I think fashion, as we can see, is just one of the biggest contributors to climate change. I think it's the second most uh like second biggest industry that creates pollution, whether it's air pollution, a lot of water pollution. There is this desert that is just filled with like piles and piles and mounds of clothes that have just been discarded, uh,
Yeah.
taken over the desert because there's nowhere to go with it. And so for me, it was important to create a brand from the very beginning that focused on that issue, that focused on sustainability. There was no
Okay.
way that I was going to be able to create a brand that manufactured 1,000 pieces a day, like
Hmm.
Shein or like H&M. So for me, it really was about slowing it down, creating really high quality, custom made to order pieces that someone was going to love and live in forever. And then if
Yeah.
they ever reached a point where they didn't want it anymore, they could give it to someone else, and then it would still have another new life and still be really high quality, really fashionable. So for me, because I get a lot of inspiration from Stella McCartney, because her
Yeah.
brand is sustainable, and I said,
Yeah.
if I'm gonna start a brand, I wanted to have a mission and a purpose. And so really focusing on slow fashion and doing things custom was crucial for me.
I mean, the name itself, Terrance Williams Design, it represents the human, I think, that you are perfectly. So it makes sense that you would go that route, but I think it is necessary. If you come to New York, we're like choking out here right now, which is so odd for us. Like, I get maybe West Coast, they're used to that, but here we're not so much used to all the smoke from the wildfires happening. So that's definitely eye-opening, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate that it takes something like this for
Yeah.
people to be directly affected, for there to be talks of legislation change and people wanting to advocate more, and but it's always when you're in those situations. But I, really hope that this changes people's minds about climate change and what we're
Yeah.
doing to the environment, because once we get to a certain point, there's no turning around.
We still even have those that are still fighting it, still being, closed-minded and or
Yeah,
blind to it, I guess. But it's like
right.
open your mouth, breathe in, inhale. It's not nice.
But I hope y'all are staying safe and staying inside and doing
Yeah.
what y'all need to do, because I saw the pictures and the videos and it's really alarming.
Yeah, it was, but it's much better today, so that's good. But I mean, I imagine this is just unfortunately like the new normal, so we're just gonna have to adapt and do better.
Right.
Follow in your footsteps and make actual changes. Um, just to like switch it up a little, because you do have a strong presence on social media, which I think is excellent for a small business, but me personally, I find it exhausting as a human being and someone who's extremely sensitive. I want to know, like, how do you manage to stay grounded during the positive exposure and also that negative that comes along with it?
It is a lot personally. Someone who kind of has social anxiety and is more used to being on my own, to be on social media, to always be present, especially if I go live, it's real live interaction with people, and you kind of create these parasocial relationships with people where they think that they know you and think they can ask certain questions and just cross certain boundaries and say certain things. So it does take a lot to kind of always have to be on.
Yeah.
For me, it is kind of easier because I am who I am. And I always tell people the same person that I am online is the same person that I am offline. There's no difference. There's no false pretense, there's no acting, so I just can be myself. And I think just me being open and vulnerable about whatever it is, whether it's good days with my small business, struggling with my small business, my depression, my anxiety, whatever it is, being open and honest and vulnerable and real. I think that's why I have such a strong following and good audience, because they can relate to that. And I think when it comes to social media, everyone kind of puts up this front of like everything is perfect and my feed is going to be curated and I'm only going to show the positive. But then me on social media, I'm showing all my pretty designs, but then I'm having an emotional breakdown in one of my stories, and then the next story I'm talking about something else. So you get all sides of me, and I think being authentic is one of the most important things. But also for me, taking breaks away from social media and just taking a step back, it's important. There just needs to be that balance, and I can't be tuned in all the time.
Exactly. I get that. I definitely I'm the type of person, I'll go like a couple hours and then I'm like, okay, that's it, no more. Put the phone down on the charger and let it just sit there and charge all day. That's all it needs to do.
Literally. I don't even have social media notifications turned on for my phone. I had to shut them off because I was looking at it every 5 seconds when I would get a notification. So I see everything and get the notifications when I log in.
Exactly. They're going to be there regardless, whether you know about it or not. You're going to know eventually.
Turning off those notifications helped my mental health tremendously.
Yeah, because I think no matter what, right now we're in the world where it's just like you're picking up some kind of device that has social media everywhere. So no matter what, you're like tuning in. I think people with the notification, I'm like, that would drive me mad. I don't know. I would not be able to concentrate or focus.
Yeah, it does drive you mad because I was one of those people, and I think we just craved that attention. It was like a dopamine, getting a like, getting a comment, getting featured in someone's story. We were just chasing after that. But you reach a point where you're like, okay, I appreciate the like and the love and the support, but I don't need to respond to that comment within 5 seconds. I don't need instant gratification from getting a like on my photo. It'll be there when I decide to log on.
Everything needs to be compartmentalized and just you need your sanity.
Exactly.
So tell me, I think this is kind of fun. What fashion, or both fashion and life advice, if they're combined, would you give the world today?
I think you need to be comfortable with doing things that represent you and being yourself. I tell this story all the time, but I grew up really poor. My family,
Yeah.
we again did not have a lot of money, so the clothes that I wore was hand-me-downs and stuff.
Yeah. I get that.
And Kmart blue light.
Yes, that was it. Kmart was the
Yes.
spot, honey.
So I never had designer things. Even getting into high school, back in the day, it was always Hollister, Abercrombie, American
Yeah.
Eagle. Like those were the cool kid brands, and we just did not have enough money to afford it. So it was
Yeah.
always, the hand-me-downs and the Goodwill stuff. But then once I started working and I got my own job and I was actually able to afford stuff from Hollister, from the sale rack, that was
Yes.
the only thing I
Exactly.
could afford.
Still got a budget.
I wore that stuff to school, and you want to know what happened? The same kids that made fun of me for wearing hand-me-downs and Goodwill were the same kids that made fun of me for wearing Hollister and Abercrombie. It didn't matter what I was wearing, they were still gonna make fun of me. So I said, you know what, F them. I'm gonna wear what I want to wear. I'm gonna do what I want to do, because people are gonna talk and they're gonna say things. So
exactly.
I'll wake up every day and wear the things that I want to wear and do the things that I want to do that make me happy, and not care what other people think, because everyone's gonna have an opinion.
Yeah.
So why I wear sparkly boots and makeup and shimmery sequiny caftan dresses, and I really do not care, because at the end of the day, I'm happy, but also there is someone out there who is going to see me living my life as a proud Black gay man. And they're going to say, if he can do it and he can be happy, then I can do it and I can be happy.
And deserve it.
Yes.
It's so sad that the world, it's like, why do we put ourselves into this position that we have to live out such misery? It's like, come on, just embrace being yourself. Embrace whatever that is. Yeah. That's something that they need to start teaching, and it's sad that we still have so many people that refuse to have that mindset. But
yeah, I just think society puts us in a box and says that we have to be a certain way to succeed and be accepted. But I think if everyone just did a little bit of stuff that was out of the norm, quote unquote, and it doesn't even have to be anything big. I mean, I always tell people, if you paint your nails, why don't you just paint them like a fun, like hot pink or bubblegum pink? Why don't you do like a funky eyeshadow, or a lip color that is out of your comfort zone? Or maybe try a heel that's like 2 inches higher than
exactly.
It can just be those little things that kind of push you outside of your comfort zone to try something new, instead of just doing what you always do. So that would be my advice. Just live the life and dress and be how you want to be, and don't care about what people say.
I love it. That's great advice. That's why I knew that question was perfect for you. So this is our 3-year anniversary special. Like most podcasts, we started during the pandemic and right in the middle of Pride Month. So in honor, I want to know, what does Pride mean to you? I feel like they're sort of the same, those two questions too, but I'm sorry. Go ahead, honey.
No, it's really emotional, because it wasn't until I moved to Dallas where I actually got to go to Pride parades and experience.
Okay.
So this is like, because I came from just a really small town in Pennsylvania, and we really didn't do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I've been like out forever, but I haven't been able to like celebrate it. So being in Dallas and going to Pride, it's really emotional for me, because you just get to see everyone there in this really safe space, just being able to be themselves and express themselves how they want to, dress how they want to, be with their friends. It's always so sweet to see the parents who are the allies with their children there, supporting them. And you see everyone from all walks of life. You see older people, you see younger people, you see, people who are in the middle. It just is, it's beautiful that people feel comfortable enough to be able to be out and express themselves and be proud, because it's not easy. being the LGBTQ plus community is not easy, but it's in those moments where it's so beautiful and so inspiring, and it just warms my heart. I love it.
I'm like, yeah, I feel like those moments make every bit of the hardness and the hardship worth it, because no one else gets to experience that. It is such like a mind orgasm, like a full body, or like everything just feels beautiful and good. It's hard to explain, but it's spiritual how good it feels to be in that community and see just people living authentically.
Yeah, it's like this euphoric full body experience, just getting to see people live their life authentically. Because I think some of those people will then have to go back to their regular life, and they can't do that. Just having that weekend or that day or whatever, just to say, hey, I'm here and this is me. And even if they're new to the experience and the journey, it's just, it's beautiful. So I'm so proud of everyone for just being so brave and so outspoken and so visible, because again, it's not easy, but it's worth it when you can inspire someone else.
Yes, and you are doing that right now. Oh, I can't stop smiling. I don't mean to like bring this a little bit to the dark side, but I feel like this has to be talked about, especially with a successful entrepreneur like yourself, queer Black-owned small business. I feel like you are the perfect person to address this kind of. But being an advocate for diversity and inclusivity, and like we said, an entrepreneur yourself, what do you feel about what many call performative allyship? Like situations like we've had with Anheuser-Busch and Target, companies pick and choose when and if they want to be supportive around queer issues and other human rights issues. Like, what do you want to see?
I think it's so disappointing, not surprising.
Yeah.
Having worked for Target a little bit ago, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But I think this should rally people more to support queer-owned businesses. So instead of going to the Walmarts and the Targets and buying cheap plastic fans or flags that you're just going to throw in the trash, support your local or international or statewide queer-owned businesses. Putting the money back into those corporations who do not really care about us all that much, it doesn't really make much sense to me. It would have more of an impact to support those small businesses. So I hope people really rally around us and find better and more ways to support us. Obviously, direct your anger at those companies, direct your disappointment, but then direct your dollars back to us.
Exactly, because also being part of that performative allyship is like when you are, okay, now I'm gonna, ooh, I hate you, Target, but then you go to Target and you buy a flag, a rainbow flag, or a rainbow t-shirt, or you go to Amazon instead. And I can't, I do use Amazon for a lot of things. I sell my own children's books on there because as an independent author, it's hard to get those things done, but I'm saying those are things that you have to research too. Maybe if you know of a queer business owner that is selling their stuff on Amazon, do that or something like that. Be specific.
Right. And I think unfortunately we all live in this capitalist society, and we're all just trying to survive in this capitalist society. So you just have to do what is best for you, but part of that is really actually support if you want to support us, actually support us, not through a Target or a Walmart or a beer company. It's nice that they donate money and they donate profits to organizations that are directly related to us, but you could directly donate to those organizations. And
exactly. It doesn't have to be the 20%. Yeah.
Exactly. So just like take out the middleman.
Yeah. Exactly. That's all it is. Like, just go to the source. That's all we're saying.
Right.
So speaking of going to the source, how can our listeners show you some love? Where can they go to support Terrance Williams Designs and find you on social media?
Yeah, so I'm all over social media. My handle is usually Terrance Williams Designs, or I have 2 Instagram accounts. So Terrance Williams Designs is the business, and then Terrance Williams _ is my personal. And obviously I have my website, terrancewilliamsdesigns.com. I'm on TikTok at Terrance Williams Designs, Twitter and Pinterest and YouTube. And I always tell people, even if you cannot purchase one of my items, or maybe one of my items isn't your style or what you're looking for, even just following and liking and sharing my content means so much, and it helps out so much. So even if you are not a person that likes to wear a caftan dress or a duster, maybe you share my post to your story. Even if you only have 20 followers, that's still 20 people who have seen it. Maybe
exactly.
One of those people will like it. And if one of those people don't like it, maybe they have a friend of a friend of a friend. So you never know how far your impact can go. You never know how many people you can influence. So I always stress, even if you cannot purchase something, just please share my content and like it, because it means so much. It really does. It helps out more than you know.
People are very misinformed when it comes to being an influencer. We all have influence on someone. So it's not like, you know, these big people that you're seeing with 1 million followers. You can influence anyone by, you know, having a conversation and showing your support for a business. So go influence. Go show Terrance Williams Designs.
I tell my friends all the time, because along with being a small business owner, I'm also a content creator and influencer. And I just get a bunch of PR, and I get to go like do stuff in Dallas and go on trips and stuff. And they're like, I wish I could do stuff like this. And I'm like, you can. Yes. They're like, I don't have as many followers as you. I said, it doesn't matter. You still can influence people to buy stuff, to make decisions, to go places, to do things. Like, everyone has the power to do it.
There's so many resources now online. Just like you Google like affiliate program, anything, you can find a way. So.
Exactly.
Oh, this has been so good, Terrance, but I do have one last thing, because so this is like customary that we ask about nonprofit organizations that you might work with, or just that you want to shout out so our listeners could maybe donate or get involved themselves with.
Yeah, so in Dallas, we have DIFA Dallas, DIFFA Dallas. They are a nonprofit organization that focuses on HIV/AIDS awareness, education, helping individuals and families. So that is kind of my focus, like all year round, but specifically for Pride Month. I think it's such an important topic and conversation for us still to have. And surprisingly, even though we're in 2023, there still is so much miseducation and misinformation spread about HIV and AIDS and people who have HIV. There is still such a negative stigma around it, and it breaks my heart, because they are people just like anyone else, and they deserve respect, and they deserve love and kindness and compassion. And I get very heated, because I've quite a few friends who have it, and the way that people talk to them and treat them, it just isn't right. So I just want everyone to be educated, and I want everyone to be informed, and I want to help out as much as I can.
Yeah, and that is, you know, and the stigma around our community with that, it's, people need to realize this affects everyone. I have 2 aunts that passed away from HIV because of drug use back in the day. So it's like there's so many reasons to get involved, whether you're part of the LGBTQ plus community or not. That is still such a relevant cause. I think anything that has to do with healthcare, it's like, come on, you're a human. It's a chance that you can contract something. So get it together, people.
Please.
But that is an excellent cause. I'm so glad that's the one that you were representing. Yeah. I'm so happy that you came here and represented for Terrance Williams Designs, Mr. Terrance Williams.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate everything you do on social media, just showing up as authentically as yourself and giving people a platform and just being vocal about the things that you're vocal about. You're very inspiring, and just keep doing what you're doing. And you're just so beautiful inside and out. When you followed me on social media, I got really excited.
Thank you. I was excited that you followed me back. I was like, oh my God, yeah.
I was like, there's no way I would not follow him back.
Oh, you're amazing. You're amazing. I think what you're doing is amazing. The more that I learned about you, the more speaking with you now, I'm just even more inspired by you. So I'm a fan for life. And thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. I'll let you get back to it. Go make some money, honey.
I'm trying.
Thank you again to my amazing guest, Terrance Williams. Be sure to follow at Terrance Williams _ and at Terrance Williams Designs throughout all social media platforms, and find amazing custom pieces designed by Terrance and crafted to elevate your style. Visit terrancewilliamsdesigns.com for an array of gorgeous, unique pieces that can suit many occasions, many people, and every vibe. Terrance Williams offers not only garments, but a whole moment. Thank you again to my listeners for tuning into part 1, and stay tuned for part 2 of our What Pride Means to Me, our 3-year anniversary special, coming soon. Remember to keep spreading peace, love, and happiness, and always be creatively you.